What's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to day 30 of Atelier month. If you haven't checked it out, day 29 was not a sampling samples. It was actually a fragrance review on Orange Sanguine, one of my favorites from the brand. It was actually my first purchase from the brand. This little 30 ml bottle has done me well. I actually haven't gone through it all. I purchased this when they first started up. So go check out that review, day 29 of Atelier month. Today we're doing day 30, so I have two more left after this. And today is a sampling samples on Citron d'érable, released in 2016, so it's one of their newer releases. The nose behind this one is, of course, Jérôme Épinette. This was actually his 23rd offering for Atelier, so pretty much you could call him the in-house parfumier for Atelier. It seems like they work very well together. This fragrance, Citron d'érable, was inspired by my home country, Canada. And of course, the big note in this fragrance that they wanted to emphasize, of course, from my home country is maple syrup. So let's see if they did it justice. The big notes in this fragrance was, even though there is no honey in here, it had a honeyed sweetness. So I'm going to put that in the big notes. Maple sap, maple and blackcurrant, and of course some of the citruses. So really, if you look at the note breakdown, there's quite a bit of woods too. A little bit of the woods peeked through, but the most interesting part was this fragrance was really the mid. Really the introduction of this fragrance. My thoughts, the initial thought from smelling this when I first put it on my skin was this was really jumbled. It didn't work very well. I was smelling so many facets of this fragrance. Usually Atelier fragrances aren't this jumbled. And if you smelt a lot of Ateliers, you know what I mean. Ateliers are pretty straightforward. You get that beautiful citrus up top, and then it goes to the rest of the fragrance. This was not what happened here with Citron d'érable. It didn't really know what it was going to start off with. You get citruses, you get fruits, you get some maple sweetness. You get a little bit of darkness from the woods, a little bit of resins, but it really didn't know what it wanted to be. And really this introduction, the first I would say 5 to 10 minutes, I really didn't know what I was expecting from this fragrance. Not saying that the introduction was bad, but it really was not constructed well. It just felt like it didn't really have a purpose. Once that burns off though, a little bit of the notes start peeking through, and you can start pinpointing what was going to be the backbone of this fragrance. And you were starting to get a lot of the citruses, big, authentic as they usually are with Atelier. I was getting some mandarin and some lemon here, so some good citruses here. And the fruit is blackcurrant in this fragrance, and that berry is, goddamn, that berry was a huge part of this fragrance. It was the big chunk of this fragrance, and it was pretty much the star of the show, to be quite honest. It really, the maple note in this fragrance, going to that, moving on, the maple note in this fragrance wasn't, you could feel during the mid a little bit of the maple coming through, and you could feel it, and you could smell the greatness of that note that Épinette put in. It had some sweetness in here, and it did remind me of honey, but they also had that maple feel to the fragrance. It kept coming in and out of the fragrance. I felt like there wasn't enough maple. I think the maple would have really made this fragrance what it was if it would have been amped up quite a bit more. And I know Atelier has their, their backbone that they look at, right? Citruses and really more fragrances that are not that dark. And unfortunately with this, the maple, I wish it would have had more of it. So the focus on this fragrance, primarily for me on my nose, was the blackcurrant. Yeah, the citruses were big and bold in the introduction. Once those burnt off, the blackcurrant was pretty much your star of the show. And the blackcurrant reminded me, it's not one of the better ones. It's a berry. It did remind me a little bit of a raspberry type of smell of a fruit. And then you got a little bit of woods, but not too much in that maple. And that was pretty much it. It didn't have much as far as depth. It does have a little bit of complexity. Perhaps I need another sample of this. Maybe this wasn't enough for me to really delve in the fragrance, but this first sample was mostly just blackcurrant, fruitiness to the fragrance. And that was the start of the show. And it was okay. It was pretty good. But I was kind of, how can I say, disappointed because of the maple. This is based on, it says all over the press, is based on my home country, Canada, and maple. And I was really excited to see what Atelier could do. I really think that maple, if it would have turned up a bit, it would have been great. So staying power in this fragrance, it was okay. 4 to 6 hours longevity with average projection. Good and bad things about this fragrance. More maple, darker maple would have been, more syrupy maple would have been really great. You keep that introduction, but that thick syrupy maple in the background, almost making this a Gourmand Ish fragrance, would have been great for fall. I think that would have been a winner for me. And that's my personal opinion. I felt like if you're going to emphasize maple, that would have been the best way of doing it. I know that Atelier's recipe is trying to emphasize the fruits and the citruses, and I really think that their DNA, as Atelier did for this particular fragrance, didn't really do them justice. I think if they would have kind of stepped away from that and made it a little darker, and I know that's my personal taste, and that's why Atelier is not one of my favorite brands, but I think more of that darkness would have been great. My final take is a bottle worthy, another sample, or a pass. This is another sample, as I already stated. And my final score, 1 bottle being crap and 5 being simply outstanding. It still gets a pretty good score. I can see this is one of those fragrances that if you had just a little bit more to it, it would have been great. So it's getting the 4-star treatment because I think it is one of the better ones. Especially that maple coming through once in a while in this fragrance, it kind of teased me. I was like, more, please, more. But it didn't. And maybe the next sample, or maybe once I get a bottle, it might be something that it'll show me a little bit more. But for now, it is a 4 out of 5, which is not too bad. So please comment below, as usual, if you have smelt Citron d'érable from Atelier. Let us know about the thoughts on that particular fragrance. And now we only have 2 left here. And basically, I'm just going to pick one. And it's the incense-based fragrance, Essence Jinhei, I guess. I need to know how to pronounce that. So it's their incense-based fragrance. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm a big incense guy. So it has incense in here. It has citron, so some lemon. And what is that? Fleur de what? Cerisier. Cherry blossom, eh? Okay. Okay. I can dig it. Let's see what this does, the incense-based fragrance from Atelier. So that is going to be my next samples. And of course, lastly is going to be a Cedra Enivrant, which I hear really good things about. I've never smelt it. So that's going to finish off Atelier month. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.